Damn, what's going on, everybody? Heavy J, welcome to the Contemporary Comrades. Uh, we're gonna have a pretty good episode for y'all tonight, as always. But before I get into what we're gonna get into, everybody's doing the Heavy J pose, so I might as well, I invented the shit, so I gotta, you know what I'm saying? But I can't do it in this chair. I gotta do it on my couch. That's the only thing. That's from the old podcast days.
Falling asleep during the
Motherfuckers was sitting on the couch. You feel me?
Yeah, get nice and sleepy.
Had the mic clipped to my my laptop. But anyways, man. Welcome to Contemporary Comrades. I'm Heavy J.
Hey, everybody.
To what looks like my bottom left, which probably to you looks like something completely different. We have the creator, the proprietor, the fucking man of the hour of the Half-Ass Podcast. Corn, say what's up, man.
What's up, everybody? Today is going to be a happy July 4th. Happy Independence Day.
Happy freedom, maybe.
And to my bottom right, which again probably is completely different to you, we have the most controversial member by far.
Why are you always doing that? Apparently, I guess that's the new thing.
We got Adam. What's going on, fam?
I guess just I'm here to be controversial, I guess. Yeah, sure. Yeah, what's up, people? Welcome back to the good times. We're gonna let them roll, and hope you guys are ready to celebrate being free. Cause man, what a time for it. As I sit here with my mask, you know.
You should at least cast with it on, like just for one segment. Just
all right. I'll do it the whole time.
Do it for the COVID segment.
I'll do it can you hear me? If you can hear me, I'll do it for the entire episode.
We can't hear you, bro.
No, wait, no.
Right. Never mind.
Man, as Adam says, we have topics. We're gonna get into Will Smith. We're gonna get into the fucking Redskins. We're gonna get into Chuck E. Cheese's. We're gonna get into COVID, of course, because that apparently matters again. And I'm probably gonna go on a rant about the state of Virginia. So without further ado, I'm gonna let Corn kick us off with some Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith drama. Corn, go ahead and
childhood hero.
So do you all remember, did you all have somebody you looked up to as kids, in terms of being a celebrity? Jaron, you probably didn't because you hate everything in terms of entertainment. You hate all of entertainment, but
I mean,
for the people at home though, think about the one person you want to look at, that you've always looked up to, and you wanted to be like, and then you know what, a report comes out, and you're like, you kind of brush off the shoulder that okay, they kind of did this, where let somebody do this, whatever, nothing illegal, just morally, just Well, Will Smith.
Man, oh man.
So 2 years ago, I found out that Will Smith had to do some shady stuff in order to get his own show, Fresh Prince. Someone who was involved in all of that was Quincy Jones, who has had some questionable methods of success when it comes to people that he's, I guess clients that he's had.
I guess you could call them that.
Little young pupils, I guess. Something like that.
Proteges.
Yeah, proteges. And
I think they're more than proteges though,
but people that he took under his wing.
Yeah, basically.
And helped blossom.
Yeah.
Help bubbles.
Yeah.
Basically. So reports are now coming out that Will Smith let R&B singer August Alsina sleep with his wife Jada. Jada, who is August Alsina's godmother and has known him since he was really little. And then so apparently, they've had this really close relationship. August Alsina, him and his quote unquote godmother, Jada Pinkett Smith. Mm-hmm. Well, we all know, at least in our age, people in our age, the audience from our like, I guess generation, we know what the '90s were like. We kind of still remember a little bit of the '90s. We remember how Will Smith, how highly regarded he was. We remember how highly regarded Jada Pinkett Smith was regarded, even before she, donned on, the Smith name. Pretty big.
Oh yeah.
When you see something like this, where not just a celebrity, we're talking about the celebrity, Will Smith, the celebrity that everybody knows. He's like The Rock before The Rock was The Rock, pretty much.
That's fair. But except actually a good actor.
Best known actor, blah, 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 blah. Right?
Yeah, Will Smith can act.
Well, duh, yeah.
Indeed.
But here's the thing. Will Smith, to me, after seeing what I saw with him, growing up, watching him my entire life, it was kind of hard for me to believe that this guy would let his wife sleep with her godson. But I found out a little bit more information, which I'm going to get to here in a second. But another report came out and said that Will Smith was actually against. He did not let his wife Jada, sleep with their godson or her godson, August Alsina. That apparently they don't have an open marriage, and that he kind of didn't want August Alsina in a picture anymore a while back. Now, should I get in the deeper hole of things, or do you guys want to say something?
Go deep, bro. I mean, shit. All I know is this exact part about him and the apparently open marriage, yada yada yada. So if you got deeper shit to go into, I was looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think where I'm gonna end up chiming in is this, this deeper, part of this. Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead and finish here. Go ahead.
Yeah, fuck it.
Because it sounds like you're getting ready to get into some.
So it saddens me.
Okay,
I have to get to this point of where my heroes are no longer heroes.
Yep. Yeah. Don't meet your heroes.
So there's plenty of pictures and videos and stuff about Will Smith, and I wouldn't even say plenty because they're pretty much shut down just like that. I mean, this guy has been at the top for the longest time, so it's not like it's not gonna be easy to try and put this guy into that kind of light that he's a part of that shady business, or whether you think it's the Illuminati or whatever. But anyway, it's a deeper hole of this, and I'm only gonna say this particular situation because we're only on Will Smith. Apparently, Will Smith has done some all that shady stuff that he was doing for Fresh Prince, he continued to do later into his career. Maybe not as so now, but apparently, it's this whole. So there's so many versions of what actually goes on in this Hollywood bullshit and trying to be successful. You have the sacrifice stuff, where apparently Will Smith sacrificed his son Jaden.
Abraham.
At a young age. Not a physical, but obviously probably physical.
I was kidding. I said like Abraham. But I know it's not true.
But apparently, one version of this is that he sacrificed his son Jaden to gain even more popularity and to gain more of a higher seat in Hollywood.
I would have to disagree with that. Only because sacrifices.
I mean, that's not my theory. That's
no, I understand. But go ahead.
Go ahead.
Because I was just going to say, I kind of disagree with that because sacrifices are normally blood sacrifices. Any sort of sacrifice and it usually involves like some sort of death or something like that of some family member or somebody close to you or something weird and it's under weird circumstances and shit. Usually those are what I guess you would consider like the sacrifices.
Yeah, the Abraham joke.
But what's that?
Shit. Never mind. It's already been
the part that I watched. So there was this video that I watched from Reddit. And they were saying that apparently like Will and Jada had they obviously you take two people that were power hungry before they met,
right?
And they were stars before they met each other,
Right.
And then they meet each other and they become the power couple. Once you have kids, just because you have kids doesn't make you. Now, to some people, yeah, your kids may change you. But apparently, again, this is all speculation. None of this stuff is fact.
For sure.
Speculation that they wanted even more fame. They wanted even more money. They wanted prominent. They wanted to stay at the top of prominent roles. It's pretty much the way I look at it. It's like it's kind of like in sports. You got to stay relevant. So if you have to take steroids to stay relevant, to be relevant in that sport, you got to do it. And it's the same way in Hollywood. That like it's just those weird rituals are something that you have to apparently you have to do to get to that certain level, to get to that Will Smith level. So once they had kids, that didn't stop them at all. They sacrificed Jada. And I feel like they kind of sacrificed their daughter too, because their daughter sees brainwashed too. But in terms of sacrificing, so in terms of this sacrificing, it was like some like brainwash type shit. Like Will and Jada drop, their kid off to a daycare. It's not really a daycare. And they start, brainwashing them into believing that they're one thing and another thing and this and that and is wrong, but it's not really wrong. And this is morally wrong. This is actually the right thing to do, and blah blah blah. And it's just it's like, again, like my mind just like went into this like deeper fucking hole when I'm watching this shit, because I'm just like, no wonder you can't find shit like this like just sitting around laying around, because they are really like, if this isn't true, this is like suable. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Jeez.
If this shit isn't, and it's funny because no one's been sued. No one's like, oh,
so rich.
This isn't true. That I know, but you would think if you're Will Smith, you'd be able to find, like, he's not dumb. He's been questioned before. Like, I watched a couple of people try and question him about the gay stuff before, and he just brushed it off.
Well, remember, Michael Jackson was so rich he could just buy his way at anything. So I mean, Will Smith, I'm sure, is more rich than he was.
Michael Jackson went under the same shit that Will Smith was under.
Yeah.
So,
which is probably why he got away with it.
And look how Michael Jackson died under.
True, but I'm saying, like, rich celebrities, can buy their way out of a lot. Not everything.
They can't buy their way out of everything. They had to make some kind of sacrifice. And again, I'm not talking about like the blood sacrifice, which some people, as we do know in Hollywood, have made those blood sacrifices involuntarily, by the way.
Jeez.
The
more and more I hear about that, the less I want to know about it. But for the sake of the podcast,
I know, dude. I mean, so some of them voluntary, some of them involuntary. But
we'll bring it up on that podcast.
That's my theory. That's my theory of
that. You can do it now if you want.
But to get back to Will Smith, is that all this stuff coming out about him having the open marriage and all this stuff, apparently this is a really big thing, not just in the world, because we know people with open relationships. I mean, we don't, maybe not personally, but we know there's people out there in the real world that have open relationships. That's just a thing. It's a fact. But in Hollywood, it's like again, I know I mentioned sports earlier. It's like a sport at this point. In Hollywood, it's like a fucking sport. It's, who doesn't have an open marriage? That's the gist that I got from the stuff that I was reading, the articles I was reading, and the stuff I was watching earlier. To where, again, I'm not gonna get too deep into the stuff that I was watching, because it's about so many other more people as well. But the Will Smith stuff is just mind-boggling, and it really does, because now, like, it's just really, I don't know how to deal with this. Like, I don't want to sound like some like 21-year-old white girl on YouTube, bitch complaining about something stupid. But it's just like, I really don't know how to just go on and just start watching and listening to some certain musicians anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, this is crazy.
So that's just kind of the thing where you got to separate actor from their work. And I mean, if you can't do that anymore, then they must have gotten that bad. Because, like, I've been there with some of my favorite old celebrities or voice actors, what have you, and it's just like, it's always going to be in the back of your mind. So you pretty much just have to get into a state of, this is fiction and that's reality. And it sucks, because meeting your heroes, like, the phrase is never meet them, because you might be disappointed. They might turn out to
But that
What?
doesn't really apply to the entertainment, like to movies and music and stuff, because that is reality.
Yeah.
As
Well,
far as
now
like,
it's all recorded. Now, so you can't escape it anyway. It's all on the internet.
I mean, yeah, that's true as well. But this is one of those things, man, where it's like everything that you think is good in the world is, you know, like the one thing where you think like you can have your creative, you know, your free creative prowess to do what you got to do, and you got famous by, you know, innocent, honest means, and then
Right.
and then come to find out, you thought it was just hard work and with a little bit of luck, and come to find out it's you know, it's not quite it's not quite what you signed up for, or you knew what you were signing up for, and you're willing to accept that for the money and the fame at the end of the day, and the influence.
Jeez. Well,
I believe some of them did get there. I mean, obviously, I don't believe every single person
I
at,
wouldn't say
that level
I wouldn't
is
say
you know,
100%.
super. 'Cause some people are super talented, or they just luck out. They're at right time, right place. But I do. I mean, after watching the stuff that I watched, I do believe at least half of the people that are at the top of the top in every fucking category in entertainment have done. They've had to do some stuff. I mean, they may have been the quote unquote chosen ones.
I would say probably like 90% or 95%.
What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? All right, so I got a question.
What?
I got a question for you, Jaron.
All right.
What was your first reaction when you first saw a story like this? Like when you first when you first researched all this bullshit and you got to like the article or the story and you were like, "Oh shit." Like what was your first reaction?
Man,
Were you
that was
disappointed? Were you like, "Oh, okay. All right." Was it like a brush off the shoulder like, "Oh, okay." Because when I found out, it was years after you found out all this bullshit. And again, I'm saying find out like speculating, finding out. But like I found out years later about all this bullshit.
right.
And that was when, you know, you and you know the other friend that was there and then told me about the Will Smith stuff at the beginning. You guys were like, yeah. You're like, yeah, that's what he had to do for and like I was surprised Connor knew about it. And I was like, wait, you knew about this too? Like I was like, what the fuck? And then it was just like, yep, yeah, that's what Will Smith had to do to get Fresh Prince. And it's like, so I want to know, what was your first reaction?
Man, I my first reaction was sort of like I was sort of startled. I was kind of like damn, for real, like oh shit. But then, and that's just for like the Will Smith part in particular. But when I first found out about like all this weird Hollywood shit, now that when I first found out about that, I was more like, oh shit, that makes a lot of sense, because I was able to think like, okay, so everybody does what every celebrity does anyway, and I was like, now that I know that, you know, these they have to harness this sort of energy to get that sort of output in the world and get that sort of influence in the world. They have to harness the life energy of these sacrifices and all this other. I mean, it sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, like, this is the shit that has to go on in order to get this type of reaction throughout the entire world that the entertainment industry in particular gets, especially in America, or the entertainment stemming from America. Um, so I was just like, holy shit! Like, I don't know. I wouldn't say I was scared, but I was kind of like, I was like, man. So it just sort of hit me as like one of those things where it's like, well, damn, like I kind of, you know, that really fucked up a lot of shit for me, because I was kind of like, life isn't what I thought it was anymore at that point.
Jeez.
Because
Did you have any heroes growing up, like in a celebrity? Maybe not heroes, but maybe that's the wrong word. But you know what I mean,
Oh,
like
that's a
somebody
good
you
word
actually
for it.
looked up to, like in entertainment.
I mean, Will Smith was one of them. Growing up, Will Smith, like Martin Lawrence, like shit. There's a bunch of them, dude. There's a bunch of them. I can't think of any right now, but I mean, there was at the time, and I was what, probably like 17, 18, when I figured that shit out. Maybe 19, but Yeah, it was quite a few people, and then I remember feeling like, well, I guess they're a piece of shit.
Yeah,
like I pretty much like
it is unfortunate finding out about your heroes, and it's like me personally, I more of mine are honestly voice actors than they are actors, but there's a bit of both, and I found out some bad shit about this or that person, and they were soliciting sex, or they hate their fans, yada yada yada, and it's like, yeah, then you have to separate work from person, but it's hard because then I can't anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I'll still enjoy the medium for what it is. In this case, Dragon Ball is one example. That's what I'm getting at. But like, yeah, like I'm still thinking about, wow, that guy sucks. Like when he's sitting there talking, I'm like, wow, this dude sucks in real life, and it's unfortunate. End of the day, you just gotta try to enjoy what you like, or stop liking that thing. And that's a hard pill to swallow, because once like your escapism roots start getting ruined, that's fucked. Like that really is unfortunate. Just you can't even enjoy what you used to go to get away from the world. Yeah.
Yeah, because one of the other holes was that I went down was the the rappers, and that was just one that I was just like, what the fuck? Because like growing up, rap was like one of those things where it's like it was more, I don't want to say like a tough guy mentality, but it was more of like you get that tough guy feel from all the, and I'm not saying that the stuff that they were doing behind the scenes wasn't being a tough guy. Like you can't be a tough guy and do that. I'm not saying that, so don't cancel me for that. But
too late.
At the same time, it's like at the same time, it's like they really aren't what I thought they were. Some of them, obviously not all of them, but some of them. And you saw other rappers and hell, even in the comedian world, like the Cat Williams, like the video I sent you earlier, Jaren, like Cat Williams was talking about walking in on it totally like I haven't watched Cat Williams stand up in years. Hold on, I haven't watched Cat Williams stand up in years, right? So like I remember that joke, and I remember obviously I know about the whole like how big cocaine is in Hollywood, at least everybody knows that. But like when he was talking about walking in and dudes getting fucked and like you're saying, I forgot, I always say Professor Opie, I don't even know what reference that is to, but like basically a highly regarded actor or character, somebody like it's basically just like watching Screech and fucking old dude from Family Matters, going down on each other
and
when
doing
you walk
blow.
in. Yeah, and doing cocaine. Like that's pretty much what Calvin was talking about, and it's like I just never. I had an idea that that's what it was. Yeah. I remember, Jaron, me, you, and James sat down for what, an hour or so, at one point, like 2 months ago, and talked about the exact same stuff.
Yeah, like, we did actually. Yeah, sure did.
I don't know if I'm ever gonna be able to watch entertainment the same way. I mean, I am, but with some stuff, I honestly, it's just the question's always going to be in the back of my head every time I see like a prominent star of any kind now, and it sucks. And this is what I was afraid of.
And this is what I always tell you. Like what we're seeing right now is fruits of the labor of World War II. Because like I say, pretty much not every cast, but when I mention like TV and entertainment and shit, like all this shit originates from Nazis and from the Nazi ideologies of how to control a society. And they invented the TV. They invented and then so basically you already had propaganda and the concept of propaganda existing since the 19s and the 1920s. And then you combine that with, now we've won World War II. Through Project Paperclip, we'll bring 1,300 Nazi scientists over. Walt Disney will link up with Werner von Braun, one of those scientists, create Disney. Hey, we got this invention called the TV that people really seem to be glued to. We think you can push agendas through it and get done what you need to get done. And from then on, look what the TV's done to people since we brought the TV home, like for real. Like in the 50s especially, don't get like, but even like the TV shows in the 50s, man, like it shaped the society at the time, and it still does that to this day. Mm-hmm. Like and to kind of denounce that is, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I guess again to have to get that to get that energy out, you gotta take that energy, right? So
you know what's unfortunate about celebrity culture is that me personally, just you grow up seeing these people's faces on magazines, and you mentioned the open relationships. You can't like not see an open relationship on a magazine cover these days. Like every single time I go to a grocery store, right? I see so and such with their open relationship is dating this person. Yeah. It's like it's never a secret, so it's like a badge of honor. It's like they're proud of it. But back to celebrity, you know, status, whatever you want to call it. That was always the thing that I referred to as what you would strive to be. Like you think of this person is almost outside of the realm of being a human being at that point. They feel like something greater, you know, like wow, this person's this. You know, it's like how do you achieve that status? And you know, Will Smith's a part of that, as well as we talk about him all the time. So it's like then you have to start thinking about, wow, no, these are actually just people who had to go down a rabbit hole of sorts to get what they wanted. And sometimes that shit's so dark that you can't even comprehend it. And then that's where the big bucks come from. And a lot of that shit isn't on the record because there are some people who go down that hole to get the big bucks, but they don't even want to broadcast it. You know?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the porn industry, isn't it?
Let me ask you something. What happens when you come out and say something about the Hollywood industry, about the true? And I know a lot of people say Illuminati. I don't cancel out Illuminati, but people overuse the word Illuminati just like they overuse the word conspiracy theories.
Absolutely,
that's true.
Absolutely.
But you know, like, where does this end? Where does it end? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
when something happens like that, where you have to go through something, can I say traumatic?
Why not?
Would that fit it? But like when you go through something traumatic in order to gain, again, the whole phrase of to make it in Hollywood you got to sell your soul. That's a real thing.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
Whether it's through that lens that we just talked about, or whether it's through the other lens that they make very visible for everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Mike.
Forgive me.
It's all good, man. We've all had our days with it. There was that one episode where I sounded off the entire time, and nobody knew until it was over. So yeah, it's all good, man.
It'll come back.
Yeah, but yeah, dude, like the whole celebrity grapevine, like there's a lot of shit I don't even want to know because I don't want more heroes ruined. But now that we have social media controlling everyone, like.
But question for you though. If there was something like would they still technically still be a hero just because you didn't want to know something about them, just because you didn't want to know what kind of person they were off screen? Would you still technically call them a hero just because you don't?
I mean, I would admire their work. I would admire their work, and that's all I know them for. You know.
I have a perfect. You're absolutely right. I have a perfect example for that. Chris Benoit for me.
Okay.
It's like
there you go. Yeah,
his in-ring work was so amazing. It's just like I can't dismiss the hard work and the talent that dude had in the ring. He really made me. I mean, you got to realize, like, we're not even like you and I, Adam. We're not even 6 feet. So me growing up, I knew I wasn't gonna get 6 feet. Right. So like
that dude was like 5 foot even, wasn't he?
I was like, yeah, he was short, and I was like, man. I mean, he wasn't 5 feet even though. He wasn't that short, but he was short. And I was like, man. And he won a title before. He won a world title before Rey Mysterio. So this is way before an actual like small person. But like, I was like, man, this is kind of cool. You know, you don't have to be 6'5", 250 to be world champion. Yeah. Like. It got to that, like, that was the end of that story. But then, you know, obviously him, you know, the tragedy and the shit that happened afterwards, you're like, wow, this guy, like, even though barring what was going on with his body and psychologically, I was like, man, you know, this dude's, he did a terrible act. I can't really say that guy's my hero anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I definitely get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. I mean, like, then you have to start questioning everything, but that's what we do anytime, all the time.
But at the same time, though, wouldn't you rather know?
If it made me never really enjoy their work again, I'm not really sure how to answer, bro. It would depend what it was. It really would, because if it turns out they were like a straight up murderer or something like that, then no, I kind of don't want to know. To be honest with you.
Well, let me ask you and Jaren a question. Well, Jaren, you're pretty much like desensitized to like everything at this point, but
sadly.
That's a little much. That might be a bit much. Not everything, but
I mean, damn near, bro.
He's desensitized to pretty.
I'm pretty desensitized to a lot
like,
of shit.
I am too. Like to some stuff.
Like people that like don't truly know me call me unemotional. I'm like, boy, do I have somebody for you to meet.
That's me.
What are you not like? I don't know why I did that. It just felt the right time for it.
Oh shit.
But let me ask you guys this question though.
All right.
If you found out something, and Jaren, I'm pretty sure I know what your answer is, but I still want you to answer this.
All right.
If you guys found out that somebody that you really looked up to, like in your avenue, like at this age right now, and you're like, man, this person's really cool. Not necessarily you want to be like them, because I don't really believe in like being like someone, but like they're kind of like an inspiration for you in your career field or in whatever field you want to be in, right? And then some actual shit comes out, and there's proof. For once, there's proof that it actually happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How does that ruin you admiring their product anymore?
Here's the thing about the product. These days, the amount of entertainment that's being ruined for me, gaming, comics, movies, what have you, I'd honestly rather have the person be ruined than the work. Really. If the work's still good, I feel like that's a win for me, because
but that work wouldn't be work without the person.
Yeah, but if the work doesn't show it, I take that. I would take ruining the person over the work than vice versa. And I know it sucks, because you're still going to be in the back of your head, just like now with shows I like. I'm still thinking about it, but if the product doesn't show it, or it shows it in a different reason, like hey, this show sucks now because of the quality, not because of this person, that's another story. Because that, again, Dragon Ball, it sucks now, not because of the voice actors. It just sucks. So it's definitely like I try to separate the two things. But if the person's ruined, I'll think about it, but it won't necessarily ruin the work for me.
Sharon?
I'm gonna have to say that because I'm so desensitized, I will probably not be surprised, and B, I'll probably say, well, they're a piece of shit. There's a lot of pieces of shit out here in the world, and at the end of the day, I'll, depending on how much I like the shit, I'll either like, I don't know. I'm not one to get swayed by what people do in their private life.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't. Again, maybe that's the unemotional part of the whole thing. But maybe like what you do in your private life. If you're a piece of shit in your private life, then I mean, we probably won't be friends. Like, it's not like I'm gonna meet you anyway. It's not like you're really gonna impact my life like that anyway. Like, if it's somebody who is making something that I watch, and I can still at least get a decent amount of value out of that, then what they do, on their own, at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily matter to me.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you're a piece of shit, then I'm just not gonna, I guess then that draws like an issue where it's like, but you're supporting them, you're making them money by watching their shit, and they're, this type of person. Well, it's like, well, again, my answer would be, well, there's a lot of shitty people.
Yeah.
A lot of shitty things that people still revere, and they're still famous. One of them being Joe fucking Biden.
Fucking Biden. Yeah.
Clearly way more racist than Trump, but you can't. But he cannot be faulted with black folks. But that's a whole different story.
And it's. I mean, because I got to be honest here, because with me wanting to go into the avenue I want to go to, it's just like seeing the stuff that's happening now, where it's just like, and not just in the wrestling business, but just in entertainment in general. It's just like all the people that they made us, even the people taught us in school about.
Yeah, bro.
Like everybody's being like demolished. Everybody's legacies
history is being erased.
Are just being completely. And I'm not talking about just history class or anything like that. I'm talking about entertainment. I'm talking about science. I want to say science. Well, yeah, some scientists and stuff like that. Like a lot of stuff is just coming out. Like it's just unnecessary shit is coming out about these people that we don't really need to know about.
Yeah,
and I think that the whole social media shit is what really sparked it. Is that we got an inside look at what the average day looks like for a celebrity. Which honestly, I don't even think all of their average days look like that. They just take pictures and make it seem like it.
Yeah, that's most of them. That's most of the Instagram influencers, whatever, if you want to use that term.
Yeah, because I'm just at a point now where I'm like, man, do I really I'm starting to question things. Like I'm like, man, do I really want to be a part of this? Like, do I really want to do all this, like work my ass off, do all this hard work just for it to be ruined or for me to be watered down of my talent?
I worry about that same thing. I worry about that exact same thing.
Do I have to worry about somebody else getting in my way instead of me getting in my own way? Because you guys know better than anybody that my entire life I've gotten my own way in everything I've done.
Oh, dude,
but in terms of but now when it's something that you love and you can't control it because you're being watered down because society we live in now, it's only going to get worse. It's like, man,
yeah,
I really do look at it like, man, do I really want to commit to this?
Yeah, that's I feel you completely in a different way. It really comes down to when you start thinking that way, because you realize that at one point you're going to get farther than where you are now, and you're going to be competing with somebody probably, and you're going to be dealing with somebody else behind the scenes, and at some point or another, someone's going to fuck you over. So it's like you have to literally, me personally, you have to literally just hang on to hope, because otherwise nothing's going to get done.
Yeah. They're ruining it, but literally, like, look at everyone they taught us about in school. Look at everyone they taught us about in our homes. Like our parents made us watch on TV and stuff like that. Like, look at every single person that we looked at as kids. We're like, wow, like they're pretty cool people. Wow, they're great. And then now look at us 20 years later.
And even someone
if they haven't gotten got, they've either gotten got behind the scenes to stay relevant or to have that name on a Hollywood Walk of Fame, or they've literally gotten got by the government, or the people higher than the government, as I should say.
And it doesn't even have to be like a celebrity. Like it could be somebody you personally know, like me, like an idol from like back home, or a preacher, or even like somebody you like just only in your circle, and you find out something shitty about them, and then and then it goes higher. Yeah, exactly. And then it goes higher and higher, and you get into the fucking entertainment industry, and it's just like heroes getting crushed one after another, and you just lose inspiration at that point, because those were people that you looked up to. You might have even based your own personality and like quirks on some of the shit they did. Yeah. And it's a fucking, it's not even a red pill. It's like a whole like tube of it. Just like it's like an overdose at that point, where you just have to
damn near black pill.
Yeah. It's every color of the rainbow pill that you have to swallow at that point just to get by. It's like, wow, now I have to reshape my entire life's purpose, because it's just like shit, dude.
And that's where the questioning comes in. That's where they want you to start questioning yourself, questioning everything you ever stood for. Like, this is the time that they're starting to do that. They're starting to brainwash everybody's like mentality and the way they move.
Yep, because you've got to be divided.
Yeah.
People are getting too comfortable with other people.
Yep.
You can't have that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And again, to go back with what Adam was saying about like the whole like having to refine your life's purpose, right? Like I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, and it's just like man, like at the end of the day, like it's really tough to find any sort of I don't know, like knowing what we know and knowing what we talk about on this cast, like it's not easy shit to have to know and carry, through day-to-day life, to be honest. at least for me.
Sure.
And especially the fact that it's just getting worse, and the tactics are getting better, and then it's like holy shit, like we're done. We're toast, bro. Like it's like that. I mean, at the end of the day, like we're toast from like mentally. Like people are fucking are like some of the shit I've seen just the past 3 to 5 years, bro. Just is like tells me everything I need to know. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
Solidifies everything that I've ever even looked up. Solidifies all that for me. Just the last 3 to 5 years, bro.
Exactly.
Especially the last 3.
Oh, dude, the last 3 since I fucking moved out of the state.
Bruh.
Yeah, I feel completely the same because it's like you have to just pretty much redefine what everything you were taught, everything you grew to know growing up, and I'm speaking from personal at this point. Yeah, it's pretty much redefining your life's purpose and finding hope again, and that it sucks. Like, don't get me wrong, and like I'm just gonna straight up say it fucking sucks because until you're there, until you find the path, upon the path, as a wise man once said. You know, it's just a battle. Every day it's a fucking battle. And especially if you've run out of role models. Like, you got to be your role model. You got to just be your fucking role model.
That's true.
That's it. That's all you can fucking do.
You got to be your own fucking role model, man. You gotta just at this point, like, if you like if you've already, you know, told yourself you're not going to follow through with all the bullshit, then you have to carve your own lane out. Like, at the end of the day, like, you have to kind of find your happy medium within everything, because if you don't, then you'll end up being forced over to one side or the other when you know that's not what you should be doing. And whatever the topic is, you can't have any neutral stance on anything anymore. You can't have any, you know, you can't look at things objectively anymore from multiple, you know, viewpoints or angles or whatever. It has to be, you have to be all the way this way or all the way that way. And that's with everything in life. Like every hot topic here recently. Coronavirus. You either all in or you all out. Racism. You either all in or you all out. You see what I'm saying?
Jeez,
like politics. You either all left or you all right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
LGBTQ. You either all for them or you're homophobic. You see what I'm saying? It's literally everything.
And you know, like me personally, I always like to find a good medium for all this stuff. Being comfortable with something does not mean you hate it. And it also doesn't have to mean you love it. Tolerance. You know, what's wrong with tolerance? People don't want to accept that someone might not want to preach about, you know, the trending shit of the day. So they'll deem you a hater or a homophobe or a racist. You know. And it's just like, let people be, you know, not everyone is going to agree. You know, that's what makes the world go round, you know? So, but a lot of people want chaos. We talked about this before. Like, some people
the agenda is chaos. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And people get off on chaos and agenda.
Yeah, that's true. Like I said, that's how deep the mind control is, man. People are, it's so deep, people are begging for it. That's it. That's what I'm saying. Like, people are requesting wholeheartedly for more governmental control, wholeheartedly for more laws to be passed. You know what I'm saying? To end these supposed things that aren't going to be ended by any sort of law or any sort of statute tearing down or anything like that.
Oh my gosh.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but let's erase history though, instead of learn from it. I'm just
any sort of celebrity, you know, outing whoever. You name somebody and I'll unfollow them if I'm following them, and like that's not doing anything. I'm sorry, it's not doing anything.
And you know, you got to think about the generation after Gen Z, I guess, whatever they're going to be called, not knowing about the stuff that got torn down. You know, not being aware of it, because you know they're going to take it out of schools soon too.
Oh yeah.
You know, before too long, history will literally be chosen what to teach.
I would argue that it's been chosen already.
Yeah, but to an even greater extent than when we were kids.
Yeah.
You know, who knows what's going to be taught in schools by the time we're like in our fucking 40s and shit. Like that's going to be a whole different world. If we're Steve, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to go down that Corns quote. But but I mean, like it. You know, we're gonna have an entire the generations will be like so divided at that point. We'll be the boomers or whatever we're called. You know, crazy.
Yeah, I guess I see what you mean though. Yeah, that's
The old,
you know,
those old millennials. You know, like I guess the millennials will be the old people. So yeah, dude.
We were the first. I think the millennials were the first to kind of, you know, either you could say last of a dying breed or first to kind of get a mix of both. You know, the old world and the new world order, if you will.
Yeah, man.
So, I think, and then I guess Gen Z came after us, came after millennial, right?
Yeah.
Gen Z there's a distinct difference.
Oh well, Gen Z's full on internet from childhood, whereas we were internet in teens and early adulthood.
Yeah, but also this is the first time in our lives that we're experiencing a different generation than ours come after us. You see what I'm saying? Because we're now at that age.
Yeah.
Where there's, you know, society has shifted again to a point where there's a different generation of people walking around. Like
for sure.
But
like I'm not saying like some of these people's statues are taken down. They might have been pieces of shit. Who am I to say? I'm just saying that erasing history is going to do more harm than good, no matter what the history is.
And speaking of erasing history, let's just go right on into the Redskins.
Let's.
The Redskins are supposedly it's looking like they're going to be changing their names, and the reason why I say it this time,
talking about it forever,
is because FedEx, which obviously the Redskins play at the FedEx Field.
FedEx Field. Yeah. Yep.
FedEx is their biggest sponsor, and guess who just pulled out of their sponsorship with the Redskins because of the name.
Wow. Now of all times, now, huh?
Yes.
Now,
wow.
because I mean,
what a coincidence.
We can go back five years ago. I'd say maybe 7 years ago, where the conversation came up about them changing the name of the Redskins, and it was pretty big too. And they still
South Park made an episode about that like 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably when that. But that has been a thing with the Redskins over the past, I'd say, like 15 years or so.
Yeah.
Like they've always
sort of kids.
Like, hey, y'all gonna change, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna change that name?
Yeah.
You know?
But now, it's looking like they just might change the name of the Redskins.
Yeah, we'll see.
Which, you know, it really wouldn't surprise me if they did. Not one bit.
I think they're gonna do it. I think they're gonna do it. And I think they're gonna do it because of FedEx leaving. They play in FedEx Field, so does that mean they're not gonna have a field to play in?
What do you think they'll change it to? Just the natives?
Like,
I don't know what to even call them because somebody will be offended.
They'll call them the Washington. I don't know.
Sparks
the Washington Sparks or the Washington fucking Storm or some shit.
Yeah, because they probably wouldn't even do natives. That's offensive too. So it's like, what do you even do at that point? Because it's literally like a depicted Native American as the picture. So you honestly are better off changing the logo too while you're at it. Change it all.
Well, of course they're gonna change the logo.
If you change the fucking
name, you're gonna have to change the logo. But
that's like automatic.
Yeah, it's gonna be some general neutral.
It's gonna be It's gonna be some term. It's not gonna be it's not gonna be any animal.
I got it.
I guarantee you that.
It's gonna be.
What's that?
The Washington Karens. A new trending word. A word everybody wants to get on for the ice cream flavor of the week.
The Washington Karens.
I could honestly see it.
But yeah, I think the Redskins will not be the name of the Redskins anymore. Like, in light of all this shit that's going on, like we said, I think it was the last cast, maybe in the cast before, like everything this agenda shit and all this shit happening all at the same time, it's hitting differently this time.
Yeah,
it's actually making a lot of drastic shit pop off.
For sure, and it's only the beginning too. Like, this is just
it's only the beginning.
A full-on assault on just everything.
Yeah, man.
Like everything's gonna change, and it's gonna be for the worst.
Yeah, man.
Because people just look for offense in everything now, dude. They just can't be happy.
Yeah.
It's like
I can make the argument about the Redskins that they've been trying to change it for a while now. But with other stuff, yeah, obviously it is like, oh, the same thing with our
the voice acting shit,
and everything, isn't is let's change it so that people can, so that when a generation, I truly do believe it's going to be for the generation after Gen Z.
Yeah,
it's going to be, they're going to grow up in a society where it's like all these everything. There's so many more like rules to being moral.
Yeah.
Right.
Than what we grew up with.
Now it's not just about being a good person anymore. Now it's about speaking a certain way and never going down a certain path.
Walking around on eggshells. This is why I don't have any friends.
And comedy is dead.
This is exactly why I don't have any friends besides you guys.
Well, okay,
because no, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying like this is literally the reason why. It's because I can tell by I can tell somebody's demeanor after talking to them for like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I can't say fully what kind of person you are, but I can pretty much get a gist of what your personality is. And it's just like so many people are just, whether they're brainwashed or whether it's just like, again, like Jeremy was saying, it's like pick a side. It's like the dating scene. It's like you're either far left or you're far right. It's like, why is this a fucking deal breaker in a relationship?
Sure.
I mean, I cannot tell you how many. I can't tell you how many dudes I've known from college that simped for certain chicks.
Yeah.
And be like, oh yeah. It's like, dude, you were never in politics. What are you doing? What are you posting this for? Like, there's a lot of people I had to unfollow over the years, even not just from college, but hell, even from the army, where it's like, okay, now you're with this person, so now she's all, either far left, far right, whatever, far up, far down, whatever. And now you're starting to post all this stuff, but you were like, you and I had conversations where we were, kind of like on mutual ground, know.
And that's a real waste of time because real attraction comes from differences anyway, in my opinion. And simping is just the worst, and it comes from experience of when I was freaking, I don't know, 18 to 21. I simped. I mean, I'm not gonna fucking deny it. I fucking simped. I didn't put it on like social media.
Everybody simped at some point.
Sure. And it's shameful to look back on, but you just gotta put it behind you. Because doing all this agreeing shit is getting you nowhere.
Yeah.
Sexual tension comes from differences. So I mean, yeah, bro. Like, and changing yourself for anyone else, relationship or friend or who the fuck ever, you're not gonna be happy. Bottom line, you're not gonna be happy from that.
Scary times, man.
I would disagree that sexual tension comes only from differences.
Not only, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I mean, like not changing yourself completely to agree with someone else. Like if you learn through time, and you start to change your opinion based on like being with them and stuff, I mean that's different. But straight up out the gate, someone posts something. Oh, that's how I feel now because I want them.
Yeah. I feel you there.
Or my girlfriend believes in this, so now I believe in this.
No, I do.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what you were just talking about a minute ago before we got to this part? I wanted to bring up comedy. Comedy's going to be dead. Like it's done. What can you even say? What's left?
I can't say that yet. I can't say comedy's dead yet until Chappelle.
We can. Okay, there's a few.
Michael Chi. There's at least 2 handfuls of comedians who are still keeping it real.
And I do love Chappelle and Bill Burr, but I'm just saying, like, what about the new ones? Like those guys, as you guys put it, old heads. They fit that category at this point, so they have a little more leeway. Plus, they're big boys. What about New Kid on the Block? What about some guy's first show? What's he gonna do? Like he's got to.
I don't know.
He's got to stick with jokes about white people, or else he's gonna get crucified. Like what can he really talk about and be okay with?
I don't know because I haven't been to a comedy club or an amateur comedy show in quite some time. I don't know with that.
There are some newer comics that, because Netflix always comes out with like the whole specials with like
they
new
have
upcoming comics and stuff like that, and
maybe,
but again, it's a preference kind of thing too when it comes to comedy, because it's like I like my comedy in some ways, and in some comedy I just don't find funny.
Yeah,
I feel that
a lot of these newer comics, man, they at least the ones that Netflix and YouTube are putting out.
There's a lot of comedy that doesn't work for me either.
I mean, you can tell that they want to go down a road, but they're too scared to do it. And that's what they've done in entertainment. Period. Is
It's
they
fucking sad.
Yeah, now you know how God feel. Like
Right.
when you're looking at it, you're like, my entire life I've wanted to get to this point. I wanted to get to such point, and it's like,
Right.
well, not just will I get to that point,
Can
but
you?
but
Should I?
can I even get to that point because of so many?
Should you?
And I'm not saying all these barriers and stuff, but like when you're changing society as a whole,
Yeah, man.
that's a whole different animal, man.
Yeah.
That's something that you're just asking to be disappointed at that point, you know?
Yeah.
Sure.
I agree.
There's only a few people I can even watch on YouTube anymore that I can genuinely laugh at because a lot of people change themselves to fit the new world, and the ones that don't, I got a lot of respect for because it's hard, man. It's hard to be that fucking diligent these days to just go against the grain completely and stick true to yourself. And I really respect anybody who does. I mean, anybody watching this who feels that way, I really respect you, or what have you, if you feel that way, because and it's hard to really define yourself that way because chances are all of us have changed a thing about ourselves at one point, but it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be your morals. Interest and morals are different things. You can keep your morals from birth to death if you want,
But now interests are getting people in trouble. Morals are people's morals are getting them fired now.
Yeah,
it's like that. Like I mean, you look at R&B, the guy that that I look up to, and made a whole video about him that he said one thing on Twitter, and it wasn't even morally wrong. It's just like the way he said it. People were like, "Oh my God!" They just looked at 3 words and they were like, "Oh my God! Oh, he's terrible. He's canceling, blah blah whatever." And he got fired by his own friends.
Yeah,
his own friends.
God,
you know what I mean?
Wow.
Like it's just crazy shit like that just makes you think. Like it literally just makes you look at it like, dude, these people don't give a fuck who you are. They don't give a fuck what relationship they have with you. They will bury you. Look at these women out here now. Ex-boyfriend getting ready to make his debut in whatever the fuck, and then bam, now you want to say he was abusive in your relationship. Now you want to say that he did this or he did that. Like it's one thing to try and prove something, to argue the point when they weren't in a relationship with you, but when you're in a relationship with them, you're gonna have arguments. So yeah, they admitted, they're like, yeah, we had heated arguments or whatever, and blah, blah whatever. I was a terrible person in a relationship, but I've learned from that. They still get canceled. Saw it with my own 2 eyes. They got canceled.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like now you can't and they want us to not be afraid. I don't want to say be afraid, but they want us to not be cautious and go out here and just date whoever the fuck. And sleep with whoever the fuck.
Well, that's what they're pushing to women more so now than
10 years ago.
Yeah,
I did it with no problem, no problem, no second thoughts, nothing. Now it's like, fuck, dude. I'm telling y'all, I say this every fucking month at least.
Yeah.
A contract, a sexual contract is coming.
Oh, gosh.
You're gonna have to sign right here saying that you consensually want to do this. You're gonna have to name that, fam. Jaren, you're safe, at least for now.
Like 50 Shades. That's all I've been told.
But you're gonna put down like positions. You're gonna have to put down different stuff that you would do, all that stuff. Because if it's not in that contract and it doesn't say doggy style and you do doggy style, the wrath is coming towards you in like 5 years.
Just like from 50 Shades of Grey, or so I've been told. Right, Corn?
Yep.
So we've been told.
Yeah.
What you mean from 50 Shades of Grey?
Well, I was told.
The contract stuff.
Yeah, there may or may.
Contract stuff.
I've certain people have told me
they had contracts.
All right, Adam, we get it.
Just kidding, bro.
But like,
they had contracts in that movie.
Like, yeah, 50 Shades of Grey was like you will submit to me. You would do
they signed contracts to fucking submit.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that shit. Interesting.
To beat the earth.
Interesting.
You will have sex with me at this time and that time. Like it's literally going to come to that.
Interesting.
Where it's like, okay, we're gonna do this, that, and that, and nothing else that's not mentioned in the contract. Because I ain't trying to get, again, like, it takes. I don't want to sound like that guy, but it takes the fun out of the actual action. Like it's just like. I mean, it's just like making out with a chick, and now you're gonna have to be like, okay, so are we going to have sex? Like you literally have to ask that.
Right.
You got to ask that now.
Yeah, because you have to be just so aware of what could go wrong at this point.
And even when naturally the chicks like when you just It happens naturally.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best part. Yeah,
That's
sure, man.
That's when it's
I've never been like, are we going to have sex now?
Yeah,
hey,
no.
Should we?
Be sure to be sweating a lot when you say that.
I mean, there are clear
It just happens.
signs when if shit ain't gonna happen.
That's the best. That's the best part is the natural flow. Absolutely, man. Like, why would you want to do anything other than natural flow? Like, that ruins everything. And then you're just like going home feeling bad and ashamed for why did I do this? Why did I say that?
Yeah, but one thing that we learned from all of this, CYA, you got to cover your ass.
Well, never post anything. That's rule number one about a personal opinion, because especially if it goes against the grain, because that's just gonna come back to destroy you.
They censored us, bro. And look
SoundCloud did.
Look at the length that China has gone to censor their people.
Yeah, bro.
Now look at where America's going. I just base it purely off of what China's getting away with right now.
China will send police officers to your house if because you said something online.
If you speak out against the government.
If you speak out against the government online, they will send folks. They will send them motherfuckers to your house.
Yeah.
And that's coming soon.
Yep. They're already sending people to your job. They're already sending them to your job and saying, "Hey, you got to go, fam. You're fired." Because 10 years ago you said you didn't like so and so, or 10 years ago you said this and said that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hey man, that's why you just get rid of your fucking Twitter posts.
And hearing this makes me so glad I got rid of my shit in 2012, man.
That's just the way it is.
Thankfully, all my stuff.
That makes you glad I got rid of my Facebook years ago too.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude! I had some.
Thankfully,
dude,
all my Facebook stuff is cringe. That's
I mean, you give an 18-year-old, 17-year-old a Facebook, man, and they just in 2011, dude.
Bruh.
They all said some stupid stuff.
You're saying some wild stuff, bro.
You already know.
Yeah, but like me personally, I'm glad most of my stuff was just like really like stupid cringe and not like there's nothing racist or sexist back there, which I'm very thankful for. But because you just don't know. You don't know what you said, because just cover your tracks.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, imagine being somebody successful and then like something you said literally like 10 years ago pops up and you're like, "Fam, I don't even remember saying that."
Exactly, and you have to apologize for that.
And now you have to apologize for it. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
But usually it's too late though. Usually the apology doesn't even do anything.
That's why I hate apologies. Not just public apologies, but I hate apologies in general, because it's like, if you're not really sorry, don't apologize. When I'm not really sorry, you guys know I don't apologize if I'm not really sorry.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah.
Like it's just, again, brainwashing, guys. It's all about brainwashing.
Sure.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep, really, indeed.
All you can do is just get rid of what you said. It's not even about changing your views. It's about just getting rid of it. Just erase the past, right? That's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing in 2020 anyway. Erasing the past. So every person should be doing it too.
Hey, we're heading towards that new normal, man. Dude, they already told y'all motherfuckers what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of
new normal.
And speaking of erasing the past,
yeah.
How many of us went to Chuck E. Cheese as a kid?
I only went once in my whole life, and it was like
I think I've only been a couple
4 years ago.
Maybe one time, bro.
I went once in Pittsburgh, and I was like 20, 23 or something. Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, yeah. Whenever I go to Chuck E. Cheese, it would be down in Tampa as a kid, whenever we like visit home or whatever. And then I went once in Virginia Beach. For like my cousin's birthday party or something.
Oh, I forgot that one at VA Beach.
I didn't know there was one at VA Beach. Fuck.
And yeah. Well, guys, Chuck E. Cheese is not only going bankrupt. Apparently, they've been running facial recognition technology inside of their costumes.
Yep.
At night. Yep. And so one of the former workers from Chuck E. Cheese came out, and they took a picture of the, what was it, Jaron? It was like the handbook.
Yeah, it was like it was a printout. It was a printed out sort of manual, if you will. Yeah, and it was telling employees what they should do or they basically said the employees had to put on a separate costume head that so that the facial recognition and the AI or whatever could not detect them as like a potential threat in the
It says
in the fucking robot like
yeah.
costume.
So
Shit.
yeah, and on page 27 of the instruction booklet,
Yeah.
it says it is always important that all Chuck E. Cheese's night shift employees must wear a spare Chuck E. Cheese costume head to avoid any animatronic facial recognition. Because if they spot any humans in the building during post hours, they will automatically detect that person. They will automatically detect that person as a criminal trying to tamper with objects from the building, and that won't lead to any good. Dot dot dot.
Jeez Louise. So they actually are. It actually is like Five Nights at Freddy's then. What are they? Were these things gonna kill people? Good lord.
Yeah, this is
That's crazy.
I'm surprised this is just now coming out.
That almost sounds fake. I mean, who's to say if it is or not? But
I saw something that said it could possibly be fake, but I don't believe that because this shit already exists. Like, even if this situation's fake, the technology exists and it does and it is used. So
that could
My
easily
only
happen.
question is,
What's
who would
that?
come out at like right now, like who would literally go through all that work just to put out something fake though about Chuck E. Cheese's?
People love doing elaborate.
But if it references a fucking, you know what I'm saying, entertainment piece, like whatever, what's it called, Adam?
Five Nights at Freddy's. It's
People will do shit like that to make shit like that more real.
They will,
True,
and
true.
it's 2020,
True.
so things are going crazy right now. So people love to strike while the iron's hot. I'm not
True.
saying that couldn't happen because it absolutely could. That's why Five Nights at Freddy's exists. I never played it, but I watched a walkthrough once, and it is spooky stuff. Like just the
Yeah, it
idea
is.
of that happening, of animatronics coming to life and trying to kill you. Yeah, who's gonna want to go to Chuck E. Cheese at that point? You know.
Yeah.
We talked about robots last episode, so this is not far from that whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's true.
So,
Um, So basically, Chuck E. Cheese has been spying on us since we were kids. So that's great.
Yeah. I mean, again, Mr. Stoic over here. No surprise.
Jeez, man. Yeah, I sent those.
Can't put any good faith in anything anymore because it's all fucked.
I mean, like, but Chuck E. Cheese has been around how long? When did they first get started?
I don't know, but they've been around as long as we've been alive.
And it's like, how advanced could those animatronics really be back when we were kids?
I mean,
Well, technology in general has been advanced.
Yeah.
By the government. Like government has had advanced technology longer than we've had it.
Well,
Like in
fair.
our phones.
That's
So
fair.
they could have put that shit in Chuck E. Cheese back in the 80s.
They could have had smartphone type shit.
I mean, I've heard
Yeah.
stories before. I've heard stories before about Chuck E. Cheese, about how some of their stuff comes to life. Now I won't say like fully comes to life, they're like walking around talking and shit.
Yeah,
but,
of
like,
course not.
You know what I mean?
Oh, shit.
Like heads moving and shit like that late at night and stuff. But that's like over the years. So now this comes out. It's like, man, those stories kind of could have been true, man. And
Yeah.
plus, I mean, honestly, I don't put it past it because I've seen some really weird shit in my lifetime, and the little 27 years I've been alive, I've already
Yeah.
seen some weird shit happen. So it's like,
No, kind of like, no surprise.
yeah,
For sure, man.
Yeah, I agree.
I find this a very interesting case because it's something off the wall and bizarre, which is my favorite stuff. But yeah, it's not really surprising in a sense because it's baffling more than anything else. Which never mind. I guess that is surprising that a parody is now working its way back to the parody that it was inspired by. Five Nights at Freddy's was literally a parody of Chuck E. Cheese, and now we're getting back to squaring them up. That's wild.
But that shit happens a lot though. I mean, look at how much shit like The Simpsons predicted and Family Guy
in South Park.
In South Park, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's very true. What do they say, that reality is stranger than fiction?
Yeah, that's a saying, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of them things, man. I mean, they could have just been using it for say, just for, security. Or they could be using it for security and XYZ. Like, who really knows? Like, but my only question is what use would Chuck E. Cheese have for facial recognition, really, other than like to detect criminal activity? Like, do you think, Adam? Do you think that Chuck E. Cheese has like a fucking database of
all the people
a
that came in?
database of people? I guess they kind of keep track of. I bet you they would keep track of how many people, or how many times a person have gone to a given Chuck E. Cheese. Maybe.
Thing is though about that, what would they really do with it?
That's what I'm saying though.
Yeah, like all these strangers that come for a kid's birthday party, then leave and never come back again. Like the one I went to in Pittsburgh once.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do with me being there one time?
That's what I'm saying. So it's got to be just for like security, so they can recognize, oh, it's just a face, it's something. Let me either, enact whatever the fuck they do, whether they try and strangle you, or they like, or it dials a fucking, hits a silent alarm and hits the cops up or something. Like it does something
for like while they're in there. Yeah. Like for like a hidden form of security.
Yeah, or maybe it triggers alarms that then trigger the cops through the alarm, or what I'm saying, and maybe
maybe they square up and start fighting themselves, like during the act, like that crime occurs, and the animatronics stop playing the banjo and get their fists up and go to it. Like that'd be cool. But
I mean, there could be secret meetings happening at night too at random Chuck E. Cheese as well. I mean,
that's kind of creepy.
At the stories. You look at the stories from like up north in like New York and Jersey where like, mafia, the different Irish cartels and gangs, like the head honchos of gangs would meet up and like after hours at, different restaurants and stuff like that. Chuck E. Cheese is probably a very prominent one that is like people wouldn't really look at as like, make sure we keep an eye out on Chuck E. Cheese tonight, put extra patrol around Chuck E. Cheese tonight. Like, it's again tinfoil hat moment, but yeah.
It could happen, man. I mean, honestly, that could be just as easily happened as them actually keeping a fucking database of people that come through.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like certain,
I think that's the primary reason of that, anyways. Is really? With that facial recognition shit is when people come in, they can go ahead and get that facial recognition. Bam, person's in a database.
Yeah, in case they act up or something. The question is, like, what do they do with like the workers there? Because then you really start to get into the Five Nights at Freddy's thing. Whereas you see somebody all the time.
Well, that's what they said. They had to put on a different costume head so that they weren't detected.
Man, I can't imagine if they actually were like attacking you. Jeez.
But that's the thing though. That's where the whole like sensationalism comes in. It's like they never said if they're going to attack. It just said
it wouldn't be good.
Employee, it wouldn't be good.
That's even worse. That's even more ominous.
Yeah. I mean, it might trigger an alarm. It might, and that's the part that makes me think it might also be fake too, because usually they'll say failure in doing so will then do X, Y, and Z. Like usually if a company has something like that, they'll tell you exactly what the fuck's gonna happen.
But
especially being an employee.
Like it's a damn
movie. If they did not update their instruction manual. Yeah. And that's been around for decades.
That's fair too.
That particular article, that particular page that I read, because it looks like it was pretty old.
Yeah, that shit was old. That's fair too.
So if that's been around for decades, I definitely believe that they could put something in there like, and that's no good. ...
Right. That sounds like old speak. Yeah.
I truly do believe that if this is real.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I don't put it past it being real.
I don't either.
Yeah. That that the terminology they use in the 80s and 70s and hell maybe even 60s was hey you know what not to do, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
Nowadays you have to spell everything out to I'm
about to say that. Yep. Yep. They're pretty much like
you have to be idiot proof, but subtlety used to exist.
Subtlety and common sense also used to exist.
They're dying arts.
Both don't anymore. So
they're dying arts for sure. The art of the subtle.
Yeah.
Is for the birds these days.
Yeah.
That's an exciting prospect and also a scary one. Just the fact that animatronics could already be as advanced as that. I mean, Jerry, we talked about robots before. We did last episode.
Yep.
Just that this stuff could already be that far along. So what comes next will just blow everybody away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wild.
And it'll probably be coming next. So.
And the thing is, like, everything we see already. Whenever we talk about things like living on Mars or robots, I mean, granted, it's scary in a way, but it also is exciting to me personally because it's such an abstract, like, we've never seen this before thing. At least I haven't. So whenever something brand new like that is introduced, I can't help but want to see it. Now, I don't want to see it go haywire. I don't want to see robots tearing people's heads off and shit in the streets. But I do like the idea of this being used for good. Or the idea
it's never gonna be their rollout with this robot shit is being used for good now. Yeah. So enjoy it right now.
Yeah,
because we've already seen people getting locked out of their house from Google Home. We've already seen people get the cops called on them by their Amazon Echo when they're doing illegal activity. How does that happen?
Wow.
How does that happen?
Jeez, man.
Yeah. And I would, and my argument has always been with the things like the Echo and the fucking Google Home and all that bullshit. That is social engineering as much as it is, AI and convenience, because all that shit does is it makes people more comfortable with the idea of
having a robot in your house.
having a robot in your house. Having something always listening, all you have to do is talk to it, and then it learns from you. It can learn your voice, and there's
the phones
there's already evidence that shows that these companies collect your data. For instance, TikTok just got in trouble for collecting user data through the fucking notepad on iPhones.
Wow.
Like. And this is just one example here in the past couple of weeks that's happened. So Apple had to release a whole new software update to stop that.
Jeez.
You know what I'm saying?
Just like when they're trying to give us these smart refrigerators.
Oh yeah.
And you see these dumbasses out here buying these smart ass Samsung. Yeah, it looks cool. It's supposed to look cool because they want you to buy it. They want your fridge talking to you. It's just like, fam, shut the fuck up. I just want some fucking ice. Right. Like, don't ask me how are you doing today? Blah, 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 blah. Like, fam, give me what the fuck I want, what the fuck I paid for. Right. Get me the fuck out of here. It's like, it makes no fucking sense. But you know what? It looks nice on the outside. It's smart. So now everybody wants to fucking buy one. Everybody wants to use one. Yep. Then it's going to be smart ovens. I guarantee you somebody's grandma's going to get caught. I guarantee somebody's grandma's going to get caught inside of one of those fucking ovens.
Jeez, bro.
And I mean, I'm not even trying to be funny, but at the same, it's just something that is, I don't know, maybe it's just my personality that I just like automatically think the worst whenever shit like this happens. But it's like at the same time, it's like I know that I'm not crazy because we've seen there are actual real stories about these things going, as Adam put it, haywire, and people getting fucked over, and people getting hemmed up over dumb shit. Yeah. Because they put Amazon Echo. They talk to Amazon Echo every single day without just picking up your phone and looking it up, even though your phone collects your shit too. But still.
Exactly. Man.
But I mean, again, Jaren hit the nail right on the head. People are feeling comfortable having a robot in their home, and you're being able to talk to it like it's your friend. And then now, guess what's going to happen 5 years from now? If even that. Real human dolls in your home. $750.
Yeah, just like Detroit could become human. They had their little assistant.
So if they don't want to buy the PS5 or the Xbox, whatever the fuck, then they can go ahead and buy this human doll right here that sits in your rocking chair, and just collects all your fucking data. It can spy on you. It can hear all your conversations at the drop of a pin.
And it can take your job.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. And it doesn't get old like you.
And it furthers the anti-social movement.
Yeah.
Way furthers it, because I'm telling you, dude, 2 generations after this, that we're done. Whether nature takes us out, whether we take each other out, or third option. I mean, dude, they're giving us every fucking option on the table.
Every aspect leads to this.
Yes. They're putting all the cards out on the table. They're putting everything out there for us. The only thing they're missing right now are dinosaurs.
Oh,
but
dude,
seriously,
that sounds cool.
But seriously, if we don't kill each other because of all this divisive stuff going on right now, it'll be, if it's not because of politics, if we don't kill each other, it'll be robots killing us. It'll be nature killing us.
Yep.
Because we fucked it up so badly over the past whatever 100 years.
A natural disaster of something like that.
And yeah, and then robots is another avenue of we're going to be extinct. We're going to be extinct. There's going to be no more reproduction. You want to know why? Because it's going to be robots. People are already falling in love with robots. They've already made dating hard. And I hate going back to that whole thing, the whole dating thing, but it's true. It's just something that, we actually can somewhat relate to, is because they're making everything so they're making normal life difficult. And it's not for no reason.
Yeah.
There's an agenda.
Right.
For sure. It's
You're right.
scary. It really is scary shit, man.
Yeah.
It gets overwhelming to even think that far ahead, even though you know it's coming.
Robot
it's not
babies.
even that far ahead, though. That's the thing about it.
You say robot babies.
Robot babies.
I'd argue it's less than 30 years out.
That's going to be another one.
It's possible. Well, no, they'd be hybrid babies, right?
Or bionic.
No. I'm not talking about like humans reproducing robots, obviously. I'm talking about like just robots. Like, oh, you can go out and raise a robot human.
Oh yeah.
Up, you know what I mean? It's just again, I just looked super far into shit, and like
possible, sure.
It's crazy, man.
But at the end of the day, I mean, what you're saying is not far fetched. Like,
yeah.
Well,
everything points to that.
It's also going to come to is the way game stations and shit's going to come to. You're being virtual reality all day anyway. Then you're so disconnected from reality, you won't even care about getting a robot. You'll be like, oh, okay, well, that's just the natural step. That's just the natural progression. Like, I'm already so far involved. Let's just amp it up. Like
it's so unnatural that it's now natural.
That's natural.
Yeah, that's some real shit. That's some real shit. Jeez, man. And speaking of it's so unnatural, it's natural.
Okay.
COVID has made a fucking comeback.
I thought you were talking about pubes.
That'd be an awful segue. I can't tell what's a worse segue, pubes or COVID. But yeah. I don't know which was worse. But anyway.
I don't know if it was bad because the argument can be made that COVID was, released from a lab, right? I thought that was kind of. That's what I was going with, but. But what were you saying, fam?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I was making a joke about pubes. Go on.
Oh.
I was just adding a Corn's joke, which wasn't much.
So,
I wasn't even really doing much with it.
So COVID is back. Yes, I know. Everybody, you have to wear your masks again. Even though everything's opening up, record numbers are being hit of cases. Yeah. Again, I think the deaths aren't going up as much as they were, but actually I think that's even changed, and I think the deaths are going back up as well, supposedly. But I just wanted to rant on COVID. I mean, not necessarily rant on COVID, but I wanted to just bring it back at the fact that COVID is still happening. Whether or not you think it's real or not, whether or not you think that, you have to do the required things or not, the effect is that it's having is still there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So whatever the boogeyman of COVID is, whether it's real or not, whatever the fuck you think, the effect it's having is still there. I think did I bring this up on the last cast that we spent, or maybe we were just talking, but we've gone $7 trillion more in debt in about 3 or 4 months as a country due to COVID. Fuck, and they're touting the quote unquote success of the first stimulus package, and
that was one
thinking
check.
About doing another one.
Oh, but I forget about how many people it was.
Yeah, it was one check, nigga. But that's $2.3 trillion.
I got you. Yeah,
that's a whole lot of people, bro. There's 40 million people in this country, bro. And I think that the majority of those people got checks too, because the majority of people in America make under $100K a year. So, and that was pretty much the cutoff.
Right.
But the fact that we're already $7 trillion more in debt in 3 or 4, basically 4 months. And now we're in, the supposed wave 2, if you will, where and on top of that, more and more states and more, countries even are opening back up, and cases are ramping back up.
Right.
So what's happened is, I think they're a lot of places are opening things up, but for instance, the European Union just voted to not allow any Americans to come into any of their countries. Due to this, because and they cited the, I guess, poor response to COVID in America is what they cited. So I just find it all very interesting, man, and some people will blame Trump for this, some people will blame China for this, some people will blame
themselves.
I don't know themselves for this. I really don't know. But
wear the mask. Wear your mask.
Yeah, I mean, that was a joke, but I guess that is true. People will blame themselves for not wearing the mask.
Wear the mask.
Yeah, but I mean, like we said, when one of the first couple casts we said about when we first started talking about COVID, which is whether it's killing motherfuckers or not. I know people who are saying that people are personally getting, they know people who are getting diagnosed with COVID.
Samesies.
Yeah, fair.
And whatever the diagnosis means, it's getting counted and it's getting accounted for, and then the desired output is happening. You know what I'm saying? The person's they're either getting that ventilator money, they're going to the hospital, or they might just be quarantining at home, and they're young enough and healthy enough to fight it off as is. Either way, it's still another case counted, right? It's still more money to that hospital, right? It's still, and I actually, you know what? Now that I'm on this topic, I have a challenge for you people listening at home.
Ice bucket.
I want you to type in coronavirus, enter any number you fucking want, and type cases in Google search and hit enter. You will find one or more articles about coronavirus, literally any random number you choose, cases in Google, and hit enter. And you will find multiple articles about this. And I don't know if that is AI hard at work or if that is legitimate or what the fuck that is, but I literally sat here for about 15 minutes trying different numbers, all of them under like about 10 to 30,000, trying just random numbers. Coronavirus, 255 cases, boom. Jeez. And then there's fucking 10 articles on the coronavirus, 255 cases in some fucking part of the world or some part of somewhere or the United States. Coronavirus, 1,550 cases, enter. Oh, here's 3 more articles. Yeah, I'm dead serious. Y'all can try it. People at home, try it. Let us know in the fucking comments if you tried that shit, and if you were able to disprove it, because I tried some fairly ridiculous numbers, and I mean within reason, and I got results.
Bro.
So the implication of that is that someone's lying, right?
The implication is that AI is my personal implication is that they have AI that's creating articles, or the AI is
fabricated numbers.
Yeah,
like the cases are not true, like the amount.
Potentially.
Okay, I believe it.
Well, Corn, would you?
Jeez, Corn looks like he just saw like the most beautiful thing on earth.
No, because I had to. I wanted to prove him wrong, but I can't. So at first I typed in coronavirus. I think I'd be like 113, and it was like somewhere like Jersey or somewhere.
Yeah. And
then I just typed in coronavirus 243 cases, and then it comes up as Idaho breaks record for cases, for COVID-19 cases with 243 on Wednesday.
Okay, they're doing it by the days. They'll probably do it by the minutes if you really got that direct with it.
All you have to do is just type in a random number. You're going to get an article. Yeah. Like, you're going to get a fucking article.
Well, honestly, probably a lot of that's due to the fact that these journalists are probably just this is their livelihood. So when COVID broke out, they were doing articles every day, all day. So they probably wrote about every single minuscule thing they could get their hands on.
So your take is that journalists are being desperate and writing COVID cases, not that there's AI creating this shit?
Yeah, it could be a bit of both. I mean, I feel like people who got to make a living off this shit will write about it all day long if that's their field.
But what else can you? But is there been anything else that you've been able to literally just type in any random number and then you'll be able to get an output for that though?
Not that I'm aware. So somebody's lying here. I mean,
307. I typed in 307. Minnesota rise by 307. And then another one. And then another. I scroll down. Same number. Says June 13th coronavirus update. You had this many. They had like 3,269 cases with 307 deaths.
It's either in cases or deaths or something.
Bro,
try a bigger number. Try
1837. Type in
1837.
Type in 1837.
2601.
1837. Oh wow. April 2nd, 2020. COVID-19 in North Carolina. Officials reporting 1,837 cases in 83 counties.
I told you, dude. All right, well, Adam, what was your number? Go ahead.
2,601.
2,601.
Hold on. Dude, this is nuts. To anybody watching this or listening, this is fucking nuts. Adam, what was your number?
2,601.
2,601. Oh, God.
That's about around the highest that I tried.
Yeah.
But
I put the one on there, so it's not a rounded number.
So Cobb County coronavirus cases total 2,601, including 135 deaths.
Good Lord.
And it's from Marietta Daily Journal.
Oh, shit.
So I think it's a bit of both. Like, the journalists are making a killing with their craft if they're related to, like, natural world stuff. And they got the computers going into overdrive, regulating just numbers out the ass, man.
Honestly, I don't even think it's the journalists. I think it's whatever this system is that people are searching. Like, I mean, people, this is the highest search thing probably of all time. Because the whole world,
the last few years,
within the past 6 months has been Googling, Yahooing, Binging, all of this stuff, right? So you know what I think? I think it's honestly these engineers, like these search engineers, or these searching engineers is what do you call them? Like, Google is the most, when you go to search something, everybody pretty much goes to Google. I know some people go to Yahoo or Bing or whatever, but mostly Google, right?
Yeah.
I think what it is whoever's behind, it's not just one person. It's an entire group working 24/7. You got people going, obviously it's like rotation, obviously, because we're all human. But it's something, I mean, Jane, I'm sure you know more about it than I do in terms of, like, the actual, like, technology side of it, but it's I think it's less of like the actual person doing it and just the actual system that they put in place for it. So it's where people will start searching any number, like I just did. I searched 5 different numbers, completely random ass numbers, and these articles show up. No human has that kind of day and time to fucking write articles about each and every. You know what I mean?
Well, unless they're full-time writers.
That's something that I believe was implemented by whoever's behind all the, by the engineering of not just Google, but of the internet.
Right. Yeah, possible. I mean, you're pretty. You have it. Yeah, it's a combination of like AI, machine learning. Just the general search engine bots and stuff like that. It's a combination of all that. Google has hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars to throw at their search engine, and they also do censor and filter a lot of searches if you don't search it anonymously, or at least B like the worst type of Google searching you could ever do is if you're logged into a Google account always and you do all your Google searching through that Google account, because they're going to give you results based on what you look at.
Yeah.
And this is not bull. This is you can look this up and you find 20 articles on the shit. It's not rocket science.
I'm not taking it off the table what you're talking about, the AI shit. I think that's legit. But I also can't disregard all the people who are getting paid to write about COVID when it's the hottest thing on planet Earth. People are going out the ass to write about this shit if they're getting paid for it. And if something's every single day, they're never off their laptop. So I mean,
I would disagree only because of all this racism stuff that's happened recently.
Well, that overtook it as the flavor of the day.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But even during that time, you were still able to do this sort of search.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it's coding. I just think it's coding. I think it's they're putting in some kind of code into the system. And again, Jaron would know way more about it than I would. I don't know anything about that kind of stuff, but I'm just speculating, obviously, that it's coding in the system of, okay, anybody they can put in any kind of number. I think it's not just a scare tactic, but I think it's literally just to continue to have people freaking out.
Yeah.
It's, oh my God, it's just like what's it called, WebMD. Whenever anybody has some kind of fucking, when everybody has like a cough or something, you go to WebMD, it's like, oh, you're dying. Oh shit, I got to go to the hospital now. You know, that's the running joke about WebMD, right?
Mm.
Well, now it's no longer a running joke when it comes to real searches. Now you can search. You can search. That's why I literally it's hard for me to get a real look at what's actually going on in my county and how many cases have gone up in my county or whatever, because everywhere you go is different numbers. I can say COVID cases, 200 plus COVID cases in Seminole County. It's going to show up Seminole County, 200 whatever the fuck, or 2,000 whatever the fuck.
Yep.
Of course. And a lot of it could very well be, and I think it's like not even could, to scare people, because that's what it does. At the end of the day, it's going to scare people. So there might as well be every number on planet Earth recorded.
Yeah,
you got to keep us all under the roof. You got to keep everybody tied down, regardless of if this stuff's true or not. Because I don't know if you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but cases during riots weren't really being factored in, right? Like the riots actually implementing.
I'm
new
pretty
cases?
sure. I think that's still unfolding.
Okay.
I think that's just common sense.
Yeah, and that's also
I think it's all these people gathering in one place, and then they're catching whatever the fuck. Now whether it's actually coronavirus or not, again, that's neither here nor there. But they caught something.
Yeah.
Right.
It's true, and it's you think more people would think about that shit. We weren't even out of COVID, and they were still gathering for humongous.
That's the thing. But that's part of the whole premise is that this racism is that needs to be ended, regardless of COVID or anything else. Like,
well, true.
That's the whole thing. These are compounding things that are being essentially, like, I don't want to say pushed onto the people, but it's being condoned in society to further this agenda that we're talking about here. Is like you add in mass protests with a pandemic, a quote unquote pandemic, whatever you want to call it, right?
Right.
You add in those two, you mix that pot. What are you going to get? An easy second wave, probably a third wave too.
Yeah.
So you combine COVID that didn't really ever go away.
Yeah. No. Of course.
You combine all the mass reopenings of everything in multiple states with a lot of people, and then you combine the protesting and all the mass gatherings that have been happening despite everything.
Yeah.
It's like 1 + 1 = 2. Like clearly, this shit's gonna come back. I don't know what to say.
Putting 1 and 1 together and getting 11, man.
And people are also feeling like, oh, well, we're getting back together, and it's been a week. I don't feel bad. This shit. I didn't get COVID, dude, and I was, what I'm saying, with 1,000 people, trying to defund whatever police department. Like people are. I think they think that the cause is bigger than, whether or not they spread COVID to everybody. But either way you look at it, the opportunity is not missed by the powers that be. It's pretty much what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It almost feels like it was meant to occur this way. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
The protests and riots got this bad here now during COVID.
Yeah.
If something of this caliber happens again and we're still dealing with COVID like this, I will be fully on board with the tinfoil hat theory of it's happening on purpose. Like if there is something else after this that leads to more riots and more protests and more like rising up against the man, and we have even more people out in the streets together. Yeah, this is all meant to happen.
It hasn't. I mean, it slowed down a little bit. They did get rid of that Chaz Chop thing, but I mean, people are still out here protesting, man. They're still having, memorials and celebrations, and we got the 4th of July coming, and like the states are entering their phase 3, so even more people are together.
Yeah.
It's all happening at the same time.
Tomorrow's going to be really telling too.
Which
is want to know why?
It's the 4th. Yeah.
It's the 4th. Everybody's going to be gathering. Everybody's going to be together. Oh, we're all family. None of us are sick. Oh, yeah. Yep. And then all it's going to take is Monday morning, or maybe next Monday, the Monday after that. That somebody's not feeling well, and then they got it, and then somebody else got it, and then everybody else starts freaking out because they're at the cookout too.
Right.
And then boom. Again, I'm not big on the mask thing. I'm big on the social distancing thing.
I feel that.
For now.
Yeah.
Only because of the second wave.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they opened beaches back up. They opened everything back up, just like what Jeremy was saying. Like, they just opened everything back up. Which, again, at the time, I wasn't really faulting anybody either. I'm like, okay, finally shit's opened back up. Yeah. First thing I'm thinking about is the movies. You know me. I'm thinking about the movie theater. Yeah. I'm like, damn, when's the next time I can get back in a fucking movie and actually watch a new movie that's supposed to come out? And now, 2020, no more movies. Not in theater.
That's wild. That is such a baffling thing to even think about.
And there's not going to be any, the rest of the year, they're not opening any theaters. I don't see it happening.
Well, I mean, back home, I read one is opening back up, but it's going to be limited. But it's like, what can you even do with that? You're just going to lose too much money.
But I guess that's part of phase 3. But, I mean,
I'm not too big on going back to the movies to watch something old. Like something that I can watch at home.
Yeah.
Because everybody was like, oh, what movie would that's the big question is, what movie would get you to go back to the movie theaters and watch it again? Me, nothing. As much as I loved the theater experience and as much as I loved watching some movies, I love that fresh, new, like you don't know what's going to happen next. That's what I love about the movie theater.
Right.
If I want my own movie theater, you know what I mean? Like I can just chill at home and watch a movie I've seen before and still love it.
Yeah.
I don't need to go out and spend money and risk being, getting COVID, which again, me personally, I'm not too scared about, but that's just me personally.
I'm just wearing this
for
a joke.
I just understand that people are cautious, and I'm cautious as well sometimes. But again, man, the mask isn't a thing. Like to me, the mask doesn't do shit. It's the social distancing. It's stay away 6 feet. Hell, with me, stay away 20 feet.
Yeah, that's understandable.
And then, like, I agree with you, the theater experience, because like the best part is that just going there for the big screen and the surround sound and the ambiance, and not knowing what's coming. Yeah, man. So like, you really have to have shit be fresh to get people back in there in masses.
They're throwing everything at us. Yeah. They're throwing the ride stuff, all that the whole thing with that stuff. They're throwing COVID at us. They're throwing sandstorms at us.
Yeah. with smart dust.
They're throwing Chuck E. Cheese at us when they're robots.
Throwing animatronics, yeah.
Like, fam.
Good Lord.
They're
throwing genetic manipulation, right?
They can't hide it anymore. That they're trying to kill us.
Just play the waiting game. See if you make it out.
Interesting times we live in, folks. That's really all I can say.
For sure, man.
Interesting fucking times we live in.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
It was the worst of times. Anyways. I guess we'll just go into the last topic, man. I mean, I didn't really want to harp on this topic too much, but
we have another one.
Yeah, I was gonna bitch about Virginia. So.
Oh yeah. All right, Virginia. All right, my home.
as it being after July 1st, the new laws take effect in our state. And there are a lot of people who are very unhappy about these new laws that are that have basically occurred in the state. Um, a lot of people are saying first that so first off, there are multiple gun owning organizations that are suing not only the governor Ralph Northam personally, but also the state uh, for for a lot of these gun laws that came out, where basically requiring a background check for private sales, um, one handgun a month if you don't have a concealed weapon permit. Uh, there's also there's he passed. There's actually about 7 or 8 gun laws that passed. I can't remember them off the top of my head. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think one of them is there were no necessarily ammo bans or anything like that, or any magazine bans, but nothing that drastic. But I guess the most drastic one that people really were upset about was the um, background check for private sale. Because it used to be that all you needed was proof of non-felon status and a Virginia, and you're a resident of the state. That's really it. And really all you needed was to be a resident of the state. Like you could the non-felon status is basically if you're walking around as a person, you're more than that's kind of the idea of it. And that's how it's written in the law. So all that got basically overtaken. And then there's also this, on a different note, there's also laws passed that actually decriminalize marijuana for under an ounce, and they also passed a LMNOP acceptance sort of law to where it made basically discrimination against the alphabet community unlawful and punishable.
Oh yeah.
So these are like the majority of the controversial laws that were passed and are now actual laws in Virginia. And there's a lot of people upset in the state that it's turning into California, because there's also talks of background checks on ammunition, which California has. There's also talks of I think they're going to try and further the alphabet agenda. There's also the complete renaming of pretty much every street, city, and statue in the state, and also the tearing down of it.
All right.
So just at least in my world here in Virginia, there's a lot of talk that the state's going to shit, and people are kind of this is turning into like Maryland in the fucking like 80s. It's like oh no, the agenda's hitting us now. It's like oh now we're getting the shit into the stick, because Virginia was everybody's fucking sanctuary for a long time, where it was a conservative state, it was easy living, there ain't a whole lot of drama going on here. You let people have their guns, you let people have their fucking you let people have whatever. You got in trouble for smoking weed, but at the same time, the state has been touted, I guess, as relatively chill, except for from like a law enforcement perspective, and from a like a law enforcement perspective.
All right.
But that's kind of going by the wayside, because what happened in Charlottesville made worldwide news.
Jeez, man, I'm still just blown away by that.
Yeah, man.
The town we used to go to all the time,
all the fucking time.
World news for some racist shit.
Yeah. So you got that, and then now with what's happening now, and now with the governor who's in office, is actually bringing all that stuff, like things that have come out of those incidents are now laws, and the state's changed, like that, especially that city has definitely changed, but the state has definitely changed. Like it's not that same. I mean, if you're in like a rural area of Virginia, it's still pretty much the same. Like people still have the same mindset. But if you go pretty much anywhere else, like it's a little different, man. It just feels different. But maybe that's just because like of everything that's going on. Like everything feels different.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. That's where I live too. It feels different than it ever has. But I mean, I can't imagine, bro. I mean, when I come back to visit in a few months, I'll have to feel it out myself. But yeah, that's unfortunate, bro. It's unfortunate that so much stuff's being changed. Well, it's like our high school, like fucking Lehigh.
Oh yeah, man.
That got taken away. Like all the stuff that I was growing up with, just knowing, is just gradually being just destroyed, and either destroyed or changed. Our elementary school got changed. Dixon got taken away. I mean, I don't think that was for anybody being offended. That was just for what, some kind of a name.
They got turned into an alternative school, as opposed to an elementary school.
That's what it was. Yeah, man. It's like and now Shelburne, the one I hated the most, is the only one that's still around.
For real.
Crazy, man.
Yeah. Hartsville got renamed.
You don't even know what to do with this information. It's like what we talked about before about role models and stuff being destroyed. Like now our past is just like literally the past.
Yeah. Like the other day, I broke the news on HAP about the statue, the Stonewall Jackson statue being taken down in Richmond. Now, Adam, I know your stance on the statues, but Jaron, I don't think we've had a clear perspective of your opinion on the statues. Like, what would you rather them be replaced? Would you keep them there? Would you want them gone? What?
I thought I was pretty clear. I pretty much described the statues as crumbs. To me, it doesn't do anything either way for me personally. The history is the history, for one. 2, Democrats are destroying statues of Democrats, if you want to get political with it. 3, like I said, it's at the end of the day, to me, it's unnecessary. It's crumbs. It's virtue signaling, little itty bitty fucking victories to me personally. Because like we've said, yes, there are, I guess, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into the whole how the South was back in the day and all that shit. I
don't know either. But I just, the thing about just getting rid of it. Like, I'm not saying if there was a statue of like fucking Hitler, sure, man. Like that's one thing. But I mean, these guys were part of the Confederacy, just like Robert E. Lee. But Jaron, you told us before that Robert E. Lee was criminalized for false claims, wasn't he? Or there was something going on with him that people just hated him because of the South. Yeah,
and he actually got asked to fight to be a general of the North, but he didn't want to fight against his home state. He was only a Southern general because it's his home state.
All right.
That was my only thing about Robert Lee, I think. But see, I lost my point that I was making with that last part. But I just want to say, as far as my feelings on the statues, I mean, I guess, are some of them unnecessary? Maybe. Is tearing them down or renaming things going to change anything? No.
Because they won't be taught it anymore. So yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about anything at the end of the day, like any real societal change that involves getting rid of racism, quote unquote. It's not going to happen. Renaming statues, renaming cities, renaming street names, renaming schools and high schools. All it does to us, is look goofy. To the generation next to us, that's all they're going to know. They're not going to see anything before that. And is that a problem? Would you guys think that's a problem? That they won't know what actually was?
I'm not a
fan. Because
also
they're going to stop teaching that shit in schools. I guarantee that.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Yeah, I'm not a fan of getting rid of history, man. Because then people will be picking and choosing literally anything they want to at that point.
See, I'm iffy on this one only because if they teach the real history, which is what we're learning about now with all this stuff, but then again, some of that stuff does get convoluted in terms of now it's like a mass agenda of still pushing it one way and not telling us what happened the other way, if that makes sense. So it's like, oh, all those people that the generation after,
That's what I'm.
before you guys learned about, they were all evil, so we're not gonna learn about them. But if you do want to know about them, it might be a little, also it depends on the teacher, obviously. But
For sure.
because I know in college, dude, I had some Republican history teachers, and I've had some Democratic history teachers or professors.
Oh, dude, I had teachers that lean both ways all the time. They taught
can I finish?
Dude, yeah, I was just leading into it, but yeah, it's true.
You already made Jerry lose his thought. I mean, shit. All right, so
shit.
But yeah, you have them on both sides, and I think that when the generation that's coming up, now or the one after, whatever you want to call it, that they literally are going to be so confused and conflicted because you have us that are still here, not necessarily like us like personally, but I'm sure we'll still probably be here. But you know what I mean? Like you're gonna have people that are still here on Earth, still knowing what it was before they took these statues down, still knowing who these prominent characters were in history. Now you're gonna have people, and like, who are they gonna worship? I mean, I'm not saying worship. Who do they worship? But like, who are they gonna like? I'm not even gonna say look up to, but who are they gonna look at to as like the founding fathers of America, pretty much? Because I mean, look at what we're doing right now. And again, I'm not condoning the whole statue taken down, and I'm also not against it either, if that makes sense. But when that happens, who are they gonna learn about?
Yeah, I feel you.
Just leave them out.
Like literally, like if we're not gonna teach what these guys really did and the reason why they are taking down the statues, who are they gonna learn about? Right. In schools.
That's true.
But you also have to think about this. Like we were taught altered history at some point too. Like think about Christopher Columbus. I didn't find out what a piece of shit he was until college. That's
what I'm saying, because these kids now are probably being taught about how horrible he was and all that stuff, which is good. That's what I'm saying. Like that's the good part of this. They're being taught the real stuff if they are actually being taught that. We don't know.
We don't know.
But
so far, probably not. Thanksgiving's still a thing.
But at the same time, yeah. But at the same time, again, if we get rid of those, if we're erasing history, what history after that is going to fucking like? Where do we start? Where do you start in first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade?
That it never existed. It just doesn't get brought up.
And that's crazy because when do you start? When do you start? When you start teaching?
Who are they going to start teaching about?
And what year do you start? You got to think about that too. What time period are they going to begin history class?
Are we just gonna say like, oh, America was already here before, and then the British came over and tried to take it from us? Freedom, yeah. Like,
I don't know.
Moving on.
Is that what we're gonna fucking teach?
Summarize it. Yeah, summarize it. Leave out all the bad parts.
Yeah, I really don't know.
Keep it moving because this is the future. So I can't even.
It's gonna be a battle, and I guarantee you, it's gonna be. Mark my words. Mark my words.
Uh-oh.
You're only gonna hear it here on Contemporary Comrades.
Uh-oh.
In the future, there's going to be segregated schools, but not in terms of race, but in terms of political views.
Jeez.
Guaranteed.
Oh, jeez.
Guaranteed.
Maybe even race.
Oof.
Maybe.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so in terms of race, but I do think in terms of, I mean, because we're so quote unquote woke, but we're not, like, as a society we're not.
Right.
But we just like to think that we like to act like that we are. So I don't think segregation will ever be a thing in terms of schools anymore. Like that's also erased. But again, history does repeat itself once it's erased. Remember that too.
Very true, and especially if you take away the ability for somebody to learn about what's already happened. And here's another thing: like I can't even imagine what schools are teaching about the millennium years. Like can you picture a history book featuring the 2000s onward?
No, but I can picture one about 2020. By itself.
Yes, that's a whole chapter. That's crazy.
That's a whole class.
Because you're also now comparing how society acts compared to how they used to act when history books were being written. About like, what do you even say about the way people were in the 1950s to how they are in 2020? That's like humanity rewritten at this point. We're pretty much a whole new species now.
Yeah.
It's that different.
You're right, and on a different aspect than that, like look at how men act now versus how women act now.
look what social
talk
media
about a different species.
The
look what social
rabbit
media
hole.
does. Yeah, look what social media has done to people.
Bruh.
It's that rabbit hole, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Society's different now. They're gonna have to teach a different history. They're gonna like everything's gonna change, and these schools are gonna. I'm telling you, bro. Like I know I just not thought of this, but it's just something that I could definitely see happening. That's why I said it. Is that it's gonna be, it's whether it's Democratic, Republican, or some other party and another party. There's gonna be a big segregation when it comes to schools. You're gonna have your Democratic schools and then your Republican schools, and more.
And you know what sucks about that too? Because
And you're going to learn your history a different way as well. It's going to
Yeah.
be two different versions of history.
Yeah.
you're instilling that in children too. That's honestly the worst part.
But that starts in the home.
Yeah, but then the kid is forced to think away, and if you put that in the school as like put something on the plaque, like part of the title, like Democrat school or Republican school, you're literally teaching the kid to think this way, and it's blatant now. Now it's not at home because now it's on a fucking school's bulletin board or titles or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That's just that's so far beyond not okay.
And you know what else is gonna fucking happen? What happened in Black Mirror? The fucking parent is gonna agree to put a chip in her daughter or son's head and censor stuff via a fucking app.
No more curse words.
no more anything scary. No more. You know what I'm saying? None of that. I can definitely see that happening too.
What if they shocked you for cursing? Like, what if you got zapped for cursing? I can see that.
But if you're censored your whole life, you don't know what it is.
Ooh,
yeah.
Damn.
Well, wait. What's that? What's that, Black Mirror? Oh, homeschool your kids. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Well, that only saves some people because then you've also got piece of shit parents. You know.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'd rather kids be raised by their parents than by the school system at this point, especially the way it's going.
Luck of the draw. That's luck of the draw at that point.
Generally, parents who care enough to homeschool their kids are at least have that caring aspect of they want something different or better for their child.
Yeah,
that's a constant with homeschooling that I've seen.
There's always pros and cons to being homeschooled. Cause a lot of kids, at least the kids that we knew growing up that were homeschooled, were socially extremely socially awkward. But at the same time, they had a better understanding at what life is going to bring to you by the time you hit 18.
That's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure.
Glad we're not in school still.
Yeah, I'm glad I got done with college before COVID hit, man. Because I'd be pretty fucking annoyed right now if I had to try and deal with college during all this stuff. So shout out to all the kids in college right now.
Shout out to James.
Yeah, real shit.
And also shout out to Connor too. He just graduated college.
Word. Shout out to Connor for getting out right just in the nick of time.
Yeah, for sure. Jeez, please.
Shit,
yeah, his graduation was online, so I know that was pretty.
Yeah.
So was mine, but by choice. He didn't have one. Yeah, dude, that's crazy shit.
Man, well, shit. Any final words, gentlemen?
Well, shit, fellers. I mean, this is pretty heavy, like it always is. It's always heavy at the comrades. Always heavy with Jay. So.
Shit.
Absolutely. Nah, I mean.
Porn? Yeah.
No, just just check out Half-Ass Podcast. We just released a new episode a couple days ago. Go ahead and check that stuff out. We spit some fire as usual.
Oh, yeah.
And stay tuned on Half-Ass Podcast. Like and subscribe here on Contemporary Comrades as well. We need the subscribers. So
definitely.
Yes. And keep watching our shit too. I don't know how many views we got last video, but I
think it ended up being in the 30s, but it didn't do as well as the previous two. So make sure y'all fucking like, subscribe, and watch. And also check us out on SoundCloud. We've got
we have a lot on SoundCloud.
30 couple episodes on that bad boy. Even though them bastards censored us and I don't know why I'm still paying, but I'm only still paying because all of our content's still up on there. So, check us out on SoundCloud. We got a lot of stuff on SoundCloud, man.
It'll eventually be here, though, right?
It'll eventually be here, yeah. But for now, it's still on SoundCloud. So, y'all check out the old shit. Check this out. You know what I'm saying? Tell all your friends to come watch our shit. You know what I'm saying?
Watch our shit. Be sure to emphasize shit.
Yeah, don't ask them. Make them.
Tell them.
Force them.
Kill them.
Sit them in a chair, strap them down, and put comrades in their ear. You see what I'm saying? Like,
and then walk out of the room a different person.
Whisper sweet nothings.
A better person.
Yeah, man. The shit. And on that note.
On those notes.
The fucking contemporary comrades.
Pulling that horrifying shit he always does. Yeah, guys.
We're signing out.
Thanks for tuning in.
Peace.
Peace
Later.